from a talent perspective, and I'll read this. I know that in the back it might be hard to see. We need to attract new talent. And Bob spoke before from an agency perspective. We have our own trials. I'm sure you guys do as well. But what's interesting is that we could probably be attracting new talent, but also from new places. This is a very interesting category that we've created for ourselves right now. The entire industry, actually, is far more compelling to a different number of people with different skill sets and different backgrounds than it ever was before. We could be approaching people who might have gone into Wall Street, but instead of working 22 hours a day, they want to work 20 hours a day, let's say. And that is a possibility for us because we have a business that has a need for quants. We also need to move people to the center. We hired a chief data officer at Mindshare, which we know to be, or at least we believe to be, the first chief data officer of an advertising agency. And we did it reporting to our CEO because we don't want to make data a sideshow. We don't want to task analytics departments with the totality of analytics. We want to make it the center stage of what we do as an organization. We've been doing that not only with our hires, but with the operating system we've built called The Loop, which is a room we go into surrounded by all the data that we need to make smart, wise decisions. So talent is a very important part of this pyramid, or triangle. The Bermuda Pyramid sounds really bad. Infrastructure. We need to utilize better what we already have. Bob likes to talk about the network effect. And this is the idea that we have lots and lots of data, but when you take that data and you start using bit by bit, you can build on top of it. And even using data, good, clean data in your marketing actually creates more pathways to the need for more data. And that creates this idea of a network effect. And we have to, similarly, on the same page, integrate. We have to make sure that this data is getting integrated. And this is a big part of what's going on in the programmatic business right now, where we have clients who might want to take some of that work in-house. We've got DSPs and DMPs. We've got all sorts of companies all across the Lumascape. But what's still important is that, as it always has been, is that in order to use skill, in order to use that intelligence, it has to be married up in some way that allows us to do what Wanamaker suggested in the quote I used a few minutes ago. We have to be able to marry up that data in order to make that first 50% effective and make the other 50% we don't know about effective as well. And then from a business model, we have to invest, number one, in a build-out. So we all have to be thinking, whether you work on the publisher side, whether you work on the client side, we have to be investing right now. Now's a good time for us to be investing in the R&D that allows us to create business models around our data, which leads to the idea of start monetizing. About a month and a half ago, Mindshare entered into a relationship with the weather company. And we're now using weather data to help inform a lot of the decisions that we make, because weather affects almost all of our clients at this point. And we're getting raw feeds of data, et cetera, et cetera. What's important about this is money never changed hands on this. It was done, as was written in the articles that were written about the deal, it was done because weather is starting to move into a place where they want to start to monetize their data, but they realize that they need a few of those early wins to be able to demonstrate how data can help marketers more effectively than maybe it has to date, at least their data. And so the idea of starting to monetize might mean, and in certain cases here, we've got companies that are built around the monetization of data, so you're already monetizing. And in other cases, you're using that data to target advertising on your platforms, but you might not be using it as a layer of data in itself, a layer of monetization in itself. And that's something that we should probably be looking at in the larger companies, the companies with more effective data pools, to create more effectiveness both for your business and also for your partners.